All right, thanks everybody for being here today. Thrilled to talk about the browser wars and crypto wallets. And to do that, joined by our esteemed panel, Brian Friel, Developer Relations at Phantom, with the cheering section, Philip Dragoslavic, co-founder of Soulflare, Max von Wallenberg, CEO of Ultimate, and Victor Pontus, founder of Glow. Thanks for joining us, guys. So, like I said, we're going to talk about the browser wars of the late 90s and early 2000s and how that kind of pertains to crypto wallets today. From a lot of the faces that I see here in the crowd and those that I've met around Lisbon, I can tell not many of you remember the browser wars of the mid-90s. So that was a time when Netscape Navigator was really battling with Microsoft's Internet Explorer. We were all using dial-up. We were paying gazillion dollars per minute to get onto the internet. And you know, Bill Gates and Microsoft ultimately won that war, but there was an antitrust lawsuit, which they lost, then settled, and right about that time, there was this little company called Google that was getting into the mix. So what we're really talking about here is market dominance. So very broadly, these were the OGs of Web 2. But now we're all going to talk about Web 3. That's why we're all here today. So I wanted to ask all of you, as you do your business with crypto wallets, how do you see kind of some of the lessons that we took from that era, and how does it pertain to wallets in Web 3 today? Brian, why don't we start with you?
Yeah, I'm happy to start. I think the big thing when we're looking, Web 2 versus Web 3 is that layer of ownership. And what that really means is the end users feel connected to something digitally. Usually it's NFTs. They want to be connected to that, be part of that community, and the wallet is how they experience that. And it goes the same way for wallets too. They want to feel connected to their wallet. Just yesterday, there was the Utes Mint, and we saw so many people showcasing Phantom and how they minted with Phantom. There's a lot of differences between a browser and a wallet in that case. And so I think some lessons learned that maybe we could apply to crypto wallets is the browsers that really took off, Netscape, and then eventually Internet Explorer and Chrome, all made a step function change in the user experience, making things really safe and easy to use. And so that's what we want to focus on at Phantom.
Yeah, Max, I saw you nodding. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think like the huge difference is that like the ownership of data is very different in the wallet space, right? Because you can use multiple wallets at the same time, and people do, right? I think the average person uses a couple of wallets, maybe for different purposes. And I think also that's where the market will go. Like people will pick and choose wallets for their specific use cases. That's actually very different to comparing that to like the browser wars, right? Where really it was all about like ownership of information. If you look at Google Chrome today, people work in Chrome, right? Like, and they have profiles tied to it, like password managers. Everything is deeply integrated, and they don't want you to switch across because information is money, right? And data is money, and that's very different in Web 3 and the wallets.
Philip?
I can basically just add to Victor's point, not to Max's point, that it's not quite comparable, like the browser wars with the wallet wars, just because what he has said. And browsers were here actually you needed access to the internet. Basically, you had one main function. Wallets, and we're going to get to that a little bit later on, have a whole set of functions, what the user can do with it and everything else. So as Max actually said, wallets will eventually have different features, different functions, and the beauty of Web 3 is actually that there's basically zero to low switching costs. So I can take my seed phrase, I can put it in another wallet, and I'm all set up to use another wallet with its different capabilities. So I think.
Victor, what's your take?
I think the biggest change is really like the browsers were so useful. Like you would open a browser to do so many different things. Like when the internet came out, it was like sick, right? It's like, oh, like there's so many search engines, you're opening them up to do things. It's like more information than you could ever imagine online, and it's still super addicting. Like Wikipedia is addicting for me. I just go on it and it's like learn everything, right?
Yeah.
And the wallets are like right now augmenting apps, right? I think like no wallet really, oh, I need to open it every day. It's like, okay, you don't open your bank account every day, you don't open financial products every day unless you're actively trading, which I think is a small amount of people. So I think what crypto needs is more things that you need to open every day and like more use cases. So that's what we're trying to build is around, hey, how do we have like a better social experience, a better use case. And I think that's like where wallets will, like, it's not war over the same amount of users who are opening some other dApp. It's like, how do you fit in this new ecosystem, and what do you let users do they can't do otherwise?
Yeah, so that actually brings me to my next point and question. What do you all see as the actual role of the wallet in the crypto ecosystem? Because there seems to be a lot of room for all of you to kind of make a play right now and make those decisions for the future.
I can go first. Well, I think wallets are basically this first layer of trust between the user and the blockchain itself, because they're storing their assets. They're basically entering the Web3 space through it. So it's basically a gateway to the decentralized internet of that sort. So we're now currently just in that phase where we're mostly just, storing assets and letting users allowing users to actually interact with dApps. But I think that wallets, like in the future, will do more and more stuff. They will eventually evolve into super app. Why? Because users already trust them. So you already trust that wallet. You're going to trust them more if they will just allow you to do a certain type of action compared to you going to a different site that you don't know, and that's basically it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would actually say that wallets today don't actually do the job that they should be doing. I know it's a bit controversial, because if I give someone a wallet, browser extension, you install it, it's basically empty, right? Like they don't do any good job of onboarding people into discovering things to do. And then, if you have some tokens in there, they're sort of an asset snapshot. So what we're really trying to do with Ultimate is that, make the entire experience before, you buy a token, afterwards, when you see how much it's actually worth, what's my P&L, data feeds, everything that you actually need to, make an informed decision what you want to do in Web3, that should be part of the wallet experience, and it's not today. And we really feel that's, the next generation of where wallets will go will make it so much easier in terms of just onboarding users into Web3, and then kind of, holding their hands almost like a companion all along the way.
Yeah, I just want to say, I think a lot of the space inherited the patterns that MetaMask set, because it was the original wallet. And a lot of people just thought, oh, this is a means to an end for me to actually use the dApps. I think we're just scratching the surface on wallets can do. I kind of view wallets as like your digital friend to exploring the digital economy. I'm really proud of what we did with lists on Magic Eden and connecting your wallet to Instagram and showing all your NFTs. And we just launched Explore as well. And I think bringing the user into the digital world, showing them how they can interact with all this very safely in a social way, that's what wallets are for.
Yeah. Victor?
Yeah, I think it's, there are different roles different wallets will go down. One is, I think, more apps in crypto will have a wallet built in. Like, I think one of the biggest wallets on Solana is StepN, right? And it's like people don't have a secret phrase that they're writing down. It's not about porting things over. It's a game that has like a crypto element to it, and crypto is just part of it. It's not like, hey, I have my StepN wallet that I'm using in other places. So you'll see apps that have wallets. But I think also with one thing we're really interested in is around the opposite of the anonymity that everyone talks about in crypto, where it's actually how do you prove you are who you are? How do you claim badges? How do you earn certificates? How do you prove you're a human? With all the crazy stuff happening in AI right now, it's like there's going to be 1 million LinkedIn profiles that are fake for every real person, right? Like every chat will have tons of bots in it. And so crypto provides a really interesting opportunity to verify you are who you are if you build the right systems. So I think that'll be one direction of a wallet being a portal and
Do you
being
think
able
the crypto community will accept that?
yeah, I think the crypto community will for crypto to go mainstream and for more people to use it, I think it will be less anonymous over time. I don't think most people want to be anonymous online. I think people like interacting with their friends and people they know, and it takes a lot longer to build up a relationship with an anonymous person than somebody with a persistent identity. Maybe they would choose a different name online, people already do that, but it's not wallet address 5 and wallet address 6. So we related to that, we made our launched Glow ID, which is our own identity system that you can build on top of also. But that's in invite only now. We're rolling that out. But
Yeah.
I think it's not around the anonymity.
Yeah.
But when you said crypto community, the crypto community now is maybe a little bit more steering towards the anonymous direction. But as the market grows bigger, as more and more people get in, I think that more KYC solutions or soul-bound token solutions will take a more important role in wallets
Yeah.
in general.
So right now, like if we want to compare to browsers, like Google is, you know, the ultimate in that space. Do you think if you look out just a little bit into the future, that there will be, you know, one wallet to rule them all, or will there be niche products that have a utility? I mean, you all are kind of, you know, yes.
I can
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think we're very, very early right now. You know, we're at millions of users. We need to grow this to billions of users. You know, I talked about people feeling connected to their wallets. There's going to be a lot of different ways that people want to express themselves digitally. There's room for a lot of different players. We're very, very focused on providing, you know, the cleanest, simplest, safest experience at scale. But we love seeing all the experimentation. We think it's awesome. There's definitely tons of room for players.
It depends. So it depends on how many blockchains will actually be relevant in 5 to 10 years from now.
Yeah.
So ultimately, what we believe is that there will be like some sort of big multi-chain wallet that will just do like the basic functions like send and receive tokens, potentially send and receive NFTs, swap, and that's it. Because if you want to implement many different blockchains, their blockchains are fundamentally different. You need to dumb down the flows, and basically you get like a really feature-poor wallet. But you get a wallet that has actually access to all the blockchains. But then, like on top of this big, basically base multi-chain wallet, you'll have like blockchain-specific deep wallets. So you, for example, have a Solana wallet, ETH wallet that basically can unlock like 100% of the blockchain's potential and do more stuff with it. So
You think there'll be many different chains? You mentioned that.
yes.
Yeah. I think there'll be like hopefully one or two. Like I think Bitcoin will still exist. I think
It depends
if
how
Ethereum.
we niche out.
Sorry.
It depends on how we niche out.
Yeah.
So if all the blockchains do just one specific use case, then okay, then I'm with you in 1 to 2 chains. But if one is going to more of, I don't know, games direction, one is doing NFTs, one is for one specific verticals, then I think we're going to have more chains.
Yeah. Which one is Solana going to be?
That's the $1 million question.
$1 million. That
Yeah.
seems.
I mean, Solana, $1 billion or $1 trillion
Yeah.
question. So Solana in the beginning said they always said they want to be the NASDAQ on chain. So DeFi, DeFi, DeFi.
Yeah.
And then NFTs happened basically.
Yeah.
And now Solana is basically predominantly like an NFT chain for
Yeah.
now.
But NFTs are a form of DeFi, right? So I mean, like our take here is that like, especially when it comes to financial services, you need like a very purpose-built wallet for it. Because financial services are a very specific thing. Like, you know, money, investments are a really important thing to people, very personal. And like, you don't want, or I don't think you can actually marry like a general purpose wallet with kind of the needs and wants of an investor, right? Like if I want to see portfolio history, data, candlestick charts, like all of this stuff, you know, not everyone needs, but like if you're serious about investing and in DeFi, like you really want that from a wallet. So we feel that, you know, the wallets of the future will have a very specific focus area. There might be some general purpose built ones, but you know, especially on the financial services side, you need this focus.
That also depends on the market. So
Yeah.
if you have 500K people in the ecosystem or 500 million people in the ecosystem, it's a whole different ballgame, basically. So
Yeah.
it all depends on that.
Going back to the question around the winner take all, I think it's like another way you could think about crypto is like as a technology. And if you think about it as a technology like Postgres or ACH, it's like, okay, like Postgres is like, or Oracle came out with a database, right? And it's like everyone has their own database, and it's like, okay, is there going to be like a winner take all database app? And it's like, okay, like no, every app is using the database, and every app is reading and writing to it. I think like crypto needs to become more like a technology that a lot of other apps are using, and that's how it'll be useful. So there will be like winners in different use cases. If you're building some social app that maybe has like signing in it, right? And it doesn't need any of the financial stuff. It's just like verifying you are who you are, and it's doing all that signing with crypto, and it's putting messages on chain. That can have a network effect and be a winner, but it's not even related to anything that this like finance part of crypto. Like crypto doesn't have to be about money.
Yeah, Brian?
I was just going to say, I think all of this discussion shows that we're early. There's a lot of different ways this could play out, and I think we want to position ourselves to, be amenable to that. Just the fact that anyone can build anything permissionlessly. 3-5 years ago, no one thought NFTs were going to be a thing. In 2018, everyone thought DeFi was going to be a big thing. I've been very humbled in crypto before, had my mind change. I look forward to that happening again, and we want to be there for it. So
changing gears a little bit, the U.S. government got involved in Microsoft. They got involved with Google. Do you foresee any, legal challenges or just like regulation? Like if we get some regulatory clarity, in the coming months, year, how do you think that will impact the wallet race?
I think the biggest regulators in the space are the mobile platforms. I think everyone has had submitted apps, or anyone who's built an app in crypto has submitted it and been nervous about different reviews. And I think we talked a little bit about the super app, where that's something that's like explicitly not allowed on either the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store. So these platforms have more power than the governments right now in terms of like what people are building in crypto. So that's where I think will be interesting, is how these platforms play out and if they incorporate crypto themselves.
How do you think that's going to play out, Philip?
I also agree with Victor that the biggest threat is basically Apple and Android. If they just release a wallet, that's basically. Then it gets super interesting for us, because we again need to niche out and do maybe stuff differently than them. In terms of these antitrust allegations or whatever it was in the browser wars, it's hard. Like I don't know what basically would be the analogy in the crypto space. So is it potentially the blockchain itself that says, hey, okay, I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of like if Microsoft released Internet Explorer and they bundled it and it was like the default. So it's like if Apple releases their own crypto wallet and then that's the default and they block all crypto apps, like is that antitrust? And I think that could be an interesting place where like the antitrust specific thing, it matches the browser wars pretty similarly.
Yeah, I do think that users are going to demand that their digital life works seamlessly across everything, across their desktop computers, their phones, gaming environments as well. So I agree. I think everyone who's built an app has thought about this kind of the forces that be. But I'm optimistic that users are going to demand something that what they want.
So one of the things that I think we try to do over and over again is take things that are happening now, or maybe Web 2 experiences, and overlay them on like crypto or Web3, and try to make it work, to try to make sense of it, especially as crypto goes more mainstream. Are there any lessons that you all take from kind of the 90s and 2000s that you think actually are fairly applicable or are similar enough where you're like, oh, okay, like we either are going to go down this road or really stay away?
I'm happy to go. I mentioned, when we first started about the UX lessons and how that's been a big focus for us, making it so easy a kindergartner can use this. I think another lesson, though, is not just consumers but also developers. If you're a web developer, you know how hard, when you say the word Internet Explorer, you have like a visceral reaction to that. And so that's been a big focus for us too, is how do we empower devs to best reach their users, create the kind of apps they want to do. Mobile wallet adapters live now. If you have an Android phone, you can interact with Phantom directly from Chrome. We'll keep investing in developers like that.
Yeah, I think also if you look at like the market share, like Internet Explorer was basically, think they can't lose. I mean, they came obviously bundled, but like they were obviously disintermediated, as we all saw. So I think that's also a case, even more so in crypto, right? Like where, even if you have substantial market share as a wallet, like you can't rest on these laurels, right? Someone else might do it better, and someone else might actually, just by virtue of you being able to port over your wallet from someone else, just basically switch. The switching cost is nearly zero, right? So and this is something which all of us here on this panel will keep us on our toes, right? To always develop really good product, because we all know the user is literally just kind of a click away, because they might have actually 3 or 4 wallets installed. So I think overall, this complete data portability will actually make it, bring about better products and more innovation faster.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree with Max. It's a hyper-competitive space, basically.
Yeah.
So in the Web2 world, I mean, you have your siloed, basically, companies, and it's super hard to move your data, your profiles, whatever you have, to somewhere else. But in crypto, it's super easy. That makes our job a lot harder, because as soon as someone brings out a new feature that is, I don't know, liked by the whole market, and we need to get it out there as soon as possible to just catch up and be there. So I think that it's ultimately great for the end consumer, because we're basically fighting to give them like the best possible experience. But this also accelerates like our development and our basically go to market basically with the product a lot faster than any Web2 company would do.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
Victor?
Thinking about like the early internet and like the browser wars were more like Web 1, I guess. I think like a couple big shifts were Amazon got you to pay for things online. Like before Amazon, I remember my mom was like, oh, like don't put in the card online. Yeah. Like if you put in your credit card online, like what could happen? Like we're gonna lose the house, and like we're gonna be sleeping on the streets. But like Amazon normalized, hey, you can pay for things online. It's safe. You actually get the thing. You can get your money back if it like doesn't come. And then the other shift was like around putting your personal information online. And I think like LinkedIn and Facebook both did this, where it's before these companies, it was like everyone was on a forum where you create your own name, and like you obviously don't have your photo, and there's probably creepy people online who are gonna like take your kidnap you or something. And now we take it for granted that like, yeah, I'll buy stuff mostly online with my credit card, and then like I sign up for stuff, and I like before I would like log in with Facebook or like have my actual identity. So I think crypto needs to bring both of those, where it's like, yeah, you want to bring in your identity and where people can see who you are. And like one thing we worked on with Glow ID is like you type in someone's name, you can send to them, right? It's really easy. Like you want to know who you're sending to, and the like financial trust is really hard, right? Like how do you get people to trust this ecosystem and say, hey, I feel comfortable putting money and sending to my friends and managing funds here, where we can like vote on it together and do like something like a DAO, where right now we're in the period of all these hacks and like speculation, where it feels like a place where you can make money, but not like a secure store of value right now, and we need to get there.
Yeah.
On the topic of hacks, like I think one part of actually role of the wallet is also consumer protection, right? So if you look at things that actually sit between the wallet and the protocols, the kind of firewalls, if you will, like I think the wallet needs to do a much better job in terms of embracing openness and composability, but at the same time also being an effective filter to show you things as a consumer that are what you're looking for in terms of risk reward on the DeFi side, in terms of the right collections on the NFT side. And I think this is something, there's a lot of things that are being developed that will make this a much, much better and more trustworthy process. And yeah, that's a core functionality of a wallet going forward.
Yeah.
But we also need to educate people. Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
I was just really going to couldn't agree more. If you missed Brandon's talk, he's an hour before. He talks all about this. But please, Philip, go.
No, you can.
Oh, yeah, that's it. I mean, it's it's multi-leveled. It's like this permissionless great nature of the ecosystem. And the wallet really is the first line of defense. How do you alert users when things potentially go wrong? And then also, if you're there and you even think this is a trusted app, the programs can change, and how can you on the fly recognize that? So it's a huge responsibility.
It's a huge responsibility, but we also need to educate the users about Web3 specific things, because we can't just abstract out all of it. So some things need to be thought to the user like in a very engaging way. So because it's basically a new paradigm shift. So for the first time in many years, basically you're the owner of your assets. Nobody else can take them away from you, but it's also like a huge responsibility. And that's one of the things that we need to teach users, that they're basically in control.
Yeah. So we've only got a few minutes left. I wanted to ask all of you, in 2025, when we're all back here at Breakpoint, what are we going to be talking about as it pertains to wallets? Bring out the crystal ball. Who wants to go first?
I can start by sharing. Vibhu of Solana Spaces has this great quote where he says that every single brand that 10 years from now will all be deeply digital, and they likely have all started in a crypto context using NFTs to reach their users. And I agree with that. You see very early signs of this now, but basically facilitating that connection of users and what they love digitally, what they own, connecting. It's very social as well. How that actually manifests in implementation details. I talked about how none of us could have even seen this NFT craze coming. I'll hold off on the implementation details for now, but that's what we're really excited about, just making that a fun, safe, intuitive experience for everybody.
Yeah. Philip?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to see like a lot of innovation in the space. I think that more and more, as Brian said, cross collaborations between Web2 companies and Web3 companies will take place. So like token gated communities, like there's a bunch of stuff that it basically can do. But I'm also thinking that coming back to one of the first questions that we had is that KYC and like proof of basically identity will also be like a big place, because you want to be able to, I don't know, pay for stuff online with crypto, and most of the time the merchant needs to know who that is in order to basically facilitate the purchase. And yeah, so I think that we're going more and more mainstream with the whole idea of wallets.
Max?
Yeah, I really hope that we don't sit here and talk about like how kind of Web 2 and centralized players won the wallet game, in the sense that like the wallets became this invisible layer. So I kind of, every company that is big out there right now like has sort of their own wallet, and you don't even know that you're interacting with crypto anymore. I do think we should really fully embrace crypto, and like actually I hope we sit here as crypto native wallets, and from our side, like I really hope that we become sort of that DeFi super app, right? Like where would you go to and invest into DeFi, and like I really don't want that race to be won by kind of centralized brokers.
Victor?
Yeah, I don't think there'll be a wallet panel, or I hope there's not. I think we're trying to build social identity and social features, and where you get your Glow ID, you verify your Twitter, you can earn badges for achieving different things. We're launching with badges mostly in the crypto ecosystem, but we're working on how do you get badges for winning a marathon or doing other things. Being 1 year at Stripe, you get a badge, and like that's a better badge than putting Stripe on your LinkedIn. How do you like verify you are who you are, and then how do you join communities that you're interested in and find events and find other people who are like you want to work with or learn from. And the wallet is like, if you look at wallets today, they're like a wrapper around this like sign message function, and they store your keys, and it's like, well, they don't really store your keys. Like most wallets actually like say, oh, you have to store your own keys, and it's you're like given a phrase on onboarding to write down. So I think for crypto to go more mainstream, we want it to be less crypto native, where it feels more like you're interacting with your friends and meeting cool people and understanding who other people are, rather than like, oh, signing messages and understanding what token accounts are and all this crazy stuff that not everyone, we can't expect everyone to know about.
But crypto native doesn't have to mean it's complex, right? I think I really want to challenge that. I know we run out of
Yeah,
time,
yeah,
but like,
yeah.
you know.
Well, thank you all so much for being here and talking with us today. Victor, Max, Philip, Brian, thank you very much.
Thank you.